Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another Habs Daily News with your hockey coach, Guru Coach Frenchy. Today, episode number 276. What do you have a new coach today? First of all, guys, I want to talk about Mike Matheson development since he played with the Montreal Canadiens. Secondly, what is the job of Vincent Lecavalier with the Montreal Canadiens? We know he got hired last year, but we really don't talk a lot about him. So I want to give you a little bit more what's happening with Vincent Lecavalier now with the Montreal Canadiens. Finally, if we have time, Coach Frenchy Corner. Yes, I'm going to do another video for guys to teaching you about hockey. But before we start, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Show, and leave me comments about this episode, and let's dive in and talking about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, about Mike Matheson development with the Montreal Canadiens from healthy scratch a couple years ago to be a number one defenseman with the Habs. First of all, guys, Mike Matheson played last week against the Panthers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Two teams he played before he joined the Montreal Canadiens during the summer 2022. He was drafted by the Florida Panthers 23rd overall in 2012. Couple of years with the Florida Panthers, guy, his average point per game, it was about below 0.5 point per game. With the Pittsburgh, he's increasing a little bit at 0.58 per game. And now with the Montreal, is about 0.72. What's the big change? That's what we're going to talk about this right now. It takes time to become a great hockey player in NHL. He comes with many circumstances, but I think the most important thing is the key of patience with them, as more as a defenseman. When he played with Florida, guys, he have kind of immaturity as a defenseman. He was take too many risks with the puck management, at the point where he was turned around the puck too many times and he became very not great on the defensive zone coverage. This was his biggest problem with the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers commit to him a lot. They gave him a big contract at some point, but he did not turn around to be great with Mike Matheson with the Florida Panthers at the point where they trade him to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And that's where everything changed. He need a new fresh start with a new team. And that's happening with him a couple years ago with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Development by the head coach Mike Sullivan gave him back his confidence to really believe on himself for Mike Matheson when he played with Sullivan. Secondly, the fact to follow and watching every single day and be a teammate of Chris Letang changed his mindset about the hockey game and NHL. The way Letang show up every single game with consistency, skate very well with the puck, two great way players as a defenseman, and what he bring on the ice with his TOI, how he take care about himself. Mike Matheson learned so much with Chris Letang, and I think now it's Montreal Canadiens benefit of everything what he learned the last 2 years with Sullivan and Chris Letang. But the most important thing for me is his maturity. Come with time at some point like any other players. And that's the reason happening to Mike Matheson the last 12 months. First, he became a husband, a dad. Then he took more responsibility when he joined the Montreal Canadiens. He developed his leadership. He always have been with him, but never show up in any locker room in NHL so far. And that's why he took responsibility to show his leadership with the young players with the Montreal Canadiens. Since February 11, he is the number one defenseman with Roman Ozzy with the most goals with 6. Just give you an idea what Matheson's doing with the Montreal Canadiens. Now, what is a risky management coach? But he come out the right side with calculation, ability to properly intensify the situation. So what happening, guys, is you try to see the seam. What is a seam in hockey called? But the old. You try to calculate which direction you go with the puck on the joint rush or the transition and carry on the puck. And that's what Mike Matheson developed with time now and getting a little bit better with the Montreal Canadiens. At the same time, with Florida, did not calculate very well. It was turn the puck more, and he put the Florida Panthers more into trouble. With the Montreal Canadiens, because his risk puck management is so good, now he don't put the Montreal Canadiens too much on the trouble. And that's, I think, for me, this is really a good maturity for Mike Matheson. And that's the reason why I believe Mike Matheson become so much mature as a defenseman, and he took him a couple of years to become who he is today, and Montreal benefit of this. This we have to give credit for Ken Hughes to intensify the potential of Mike Matheson and the trade for him when he sent Jeff Petrie and Rand Poland. Another great home run by the general manager, Ken Hughes. But now, the analogy, guys, the poker game of the risk. What are you talking about? Martin and we like to compare things with analogy. Baseball, train, and now is a poker game about Mike Matheson. So what happening is this. The analogy, the poker game, is a game of the risk. All goes with the chip you have and on the table. More you accumulate chip versus how many you can lose when you make a mistake. The key is about the consistency. So we talk about more you do the great play, guys, on carrying the puck, on the transition, join the rush, and you don't put the team in the trouble, you accumulate chip. More you accumulate, better you become. And that's exactly the analogy about poker game. Sometimes you're going to put the chip on the table, you're going to lose them. But because you accumulate more and more chip, because you win more at losing, but that's the key about the poker game, and that's the reason that Martin Louis I use that analogy about Mike Matheson versus the do better play versus the do the bad one. That's exactly happening with Mike Matheson since he joined the Montreal Canadiens. Finally, Mike Matheson, guys, reached another level of his talents with the Montreal Canadiens because his opportunity he get since the beginning of the season with the Montreal Canadiens is still high, is unbelievable. He never played over 22 minutes during his career in NHL. With Montreal now, he played 24, 25, 31, 28. He's constantly on strength situation on the ice for the Montreal Canadiens. Power play, PK, plus he's shut down the opponent first line usually. And that's why we have to give credit, guys, for Mike Matheson, his development. That was my first subject about him today. I would like to hear about you guys. Give me a comments about Mike Matheson. How do you see him? What do you see Mike Matheson the next couple of years with Montreal? Do you believe he can become a guy can score 10 goals per year, maybe 12, 13, and he can reach a total of 60 points per season? Possible? I'm not sure. I would like to hear from you guys. So let's move on my second subject of the day. My second subject of the day, guys, about Vincent Lecavalier's job with the Montreal Canadiens. It never been clarified, honestly, the title of Vincent Lecavalier with the Montreal Canadiens. And then I figured out the last couple of days, I make some search, and I got some answer. First of all, guys, his primary job is scouting amateur video. He watched all the amateur for the players going to be drafted in 2023. From example, Bedard to Fantilli to Carlson to Perreault to Gauthier and everywhere around the world. He's really focusing on this. This is his first job with the Montreal Canadiens. But it's not done yet because a secondary job, he's scouting specific NHL player recommended by the Montreal Canadiens. Example, if Montreal are looking to make a trade, he will ask him to follow and do all the kind of video about that players. His recommendation to the Montreal Canadiens, what he think about that specific players. And finally, he have another job is he watch all the Montreal Canadiens game. He make a report to Martin St. Louis, and sometimes he talk to him on the phone and give him his own opinions about the situation with the Montreal Canadiens. He's going to be now join the Montreal Canadiens, so sometimes he gets some kind of notification to do some specific job for the Montreal Canadiens. Example, he's going to be at the World Championship under 18 years old next month in Switzerland, to watching all those players he already watched on video, so you can see what he bring on the table for the Montreal Canadiens. I just want to share with you what is now the specific job of Vincent Lecavalier of the Montreal Canadiens. Leave me comments about Vincent Lecavalier. What do you think about him? So guys, this concludes another episode of the Habs Daily News. Today we talk about Mike Matheson development, Vincent Lecavalier job, and the coach Frenchy corner. But before we leave, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Canadian Show, and leave me a comments about this episode. And of course, you have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, great day, everybody.